Paris Saint-Germain will be without Willian Pacho and Lucas Hernandez for the Club World Cup final against Chelsea. PSG booked their place in Sunday's showpiece with an emphatic 4-0 win over Real Madrid on Wednesday night, 24 hours after the Blues had overcome Fluminense. Paris Saint-Germain will be without Willian Pacho and Lucas Hernandez for the Club World Cup final against Chelsea. PSG booked their place in Sunday's showpiece with an emphatic 4-0 win over Real Madrid on Wednesday night, 24 hours after the Blues had overcome Fluminense. FIFA deemed those actions as rough and serious play under the FIFA disciplinary code, which means a 2-game suspension instead of 1 is the punishment for both players. As a result, after missing the semi-final thrashing of Real Madrid, they will also sit out the final against Chelsea at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey on Sunday night. This is somewhat of a boost for the Blues, particularly in the case of Pacho, as he has forged a strong central defensive partnership with Marquinhos, which was the foundation for their Champions League triumph back in May. Welcome to your daily dose of football news. From shocking transfers to game-changing moments, we've got the latest updates you don't want to miss. If you're passionate about the beautiful game, this is the place for you. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a beat. Like the video to support the channel, comment below with your thoughts. We love hearing from true fans. And don't forget to share this with fellow football lovers. Let's kick things off with today's top story in the world of football. Crystal Palace have been demoted from the Europa League and will now play in the Conference League next season after a UEFA ruling. As FA Cup winners, the Eagles won a spot in the Europa League for the 2025-26 campaign. However, that was brought into question with French club Lyon finishing 6th in Ligue 1 and earning their own Europa League spot. John Textor owned shares in both clubs, and under UEFA's multi-club ownership rules, clubs with the same ownership group cannot play in the same competition. Any conflicts of interest for next season had to be sorted by March 1st. Textor, who Palace argue did not have overall control of the club, sold his 43% stake in Crystal Palace to New York Jets owner Woody Johnson, albeit after the March 1st deadline. Textor, who Palace argue did not have overall control of the club, sold his 43% stake in Crystal Palace to New York Jets owner Woody Johnson, albeit after the March 1st deadline. However, there was further uncertainty on Wednesday when Lyon won their appeal against their relegation and were reinstated to League One, meaning they are able to take up their Europa League spot. On Friday, it was confirmed by UEFA that Palace will move down a competition. UEFA Regulation 4.10 states Palace's place should be taken by the next best-placed club in the Premier League, which would be Nottingham Forest. However, report states that Forest's place has not yet been confirmed, with UEFA's club financial control body waiting until the outcome of the CAS appeal. Liverpool have confirmed that the number 20 shirt will be permanently retired in honour of Diogo Jota. The tribute marks the first time Liverpool have retired a player's number throughout their 133-year history, as they honour the lives of Jota and his brother Andre Silva, who were killed in a car crash in Spain on July 3rd. The retirement applies to the club at all levels, including men's first team, women's team, and all academy sides. Liverpool came to the decision after consulting with Jota's wife, Ruth, and other members of his family. A statement from the club read, "The move is recognition of not only the immeasurable contribution our lad from Portugal made to the Reds' on-pitch successes over the last 5 years, but also the profound personal impact he had on his teammates, colleagues and supporters, and the everlasting connections he built with them." Club CEO Michael Edwards also spoke on the matter, saying, "As a club, we were all acutely aware of the sentiment of our supporters, and we felt exactly the same way. It was vitally important to us to involve Diogo's wife, Ruth, and his family in the decision, and to ensure they were the first to know of our intention. I believe this is the first time in Liverpool Football Club's history that such an honour has been bestowed upon an individual. Therefore, we can say this is a unique tribute to a uniquely wonderful person." The Reds have also announced plans to pay tribute to them during Sunday's pre-season friendly against Preston. There will be a rendition of "You'll Never Walk Alone" prior to the 3 p.m. kickoff, and Preston will lay a wreath alongside the away supporters, Liverpool said. A minute's silence will then be observed, with digital tributes displayed on the stadium big screen and on pitchside LED boards. Players from both teams will wear black armbands. The pre-match program will also feature written tributes to Jota and Silva. Noni Madueke is missing Sunday's Club World Cup final after heading home to start his new life at Arsenal. And Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca insists it was the winger's decision to join one of his club's main rivals for next season's Premier League title. Madueke, 23, has agreed a 5-year deal with Arsenal in a deal worth around $52 million in total. Maresca said, "Noni is in contact with a new club, and I guess that he's going to leave in the next hours. I said in one of the last press conferences that at the end, if players want to leave, at the end it's difficult for the club and for the manager. Noni decided to leave. Nobody told Noni he had to leave. If he is happy, we are happy." Maresca had recently praised Madueke's performances at the tournament and was reluctant to let the England international go. But the arrival of winger Jamie Gittins, plus strikers Liam Delap and João Pedro, meant players needed to be offloaded to balance the books. Chelsea are huge underdogs as they prepare to face European champions Paris Saint-Germain, but Italian Maresca insists his team will not be overrun. He said, "Who said that? We'll see in 2 days. For sure they are a top team, the best team in the world. Every game is different. We are going to try our best for a good game." Manchester United have one signing through the door this summer, but they have no plans to stop there as Ruben Amorim continues revamping his struggling squad. So far, Matheus Cunha is the only player who has arrived at Old Trafford after being signed for $62.5 million, and there are some frustrations from fans over the lack of progress over other deals. United are still locked in talks with Brentford over a possible move for Bryan Mbeumo, but have been unable to agree a fee. There are also a number of unwanted stars like Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho whose futures need finalising as the club look to balance the books and rake in more funds for transfers. It has been very evident since the start of the summer that Manchester United want a new striker, but their targets have been quite varied. There doesn't seem to be a clear, obvious number 9 that the English club want to sign as things stand. Among the many names that Man Utd are interested in this summer, one of them is RB Leipzig star Benjamin Sesko. The Slovenian number 9 is considered one of the biggest striker talents in European football at the moment. Man Utd have to agree a fee of around 77.5 million to sign Benjamin Sesko. Arsenal are another club that have been heavily interested in his services, holding advanced talks, but he is considered too expensive for both clubs. At just 22, Sesko has scored 21 goals and provided 6 assists in 45 games last season. He has all the attributes to become one of the very best in the world, and his output could improve if he plays for a better team. Rasmus Højlund's inconsistent form has put pressure on Ruben Amorim to find a reliable goalscorer. However, the Portuguese tactician has an important decision to make on whether he wants someone else who is still young or an established option. Leipzig's valuation of Sesko at 77.5 million very clearly shows that the German club puts him in the same bracket as world-class players. However, at this stage of their evolution, it might be beyond Man Utd to pay so much for the youngster. One advantage that Man Utd do have, not particularly in negotiations, but maybe if it comes to a club toss-up between Arsenal and themselves, is that Christopher Vivell, the United Director of Recruitment, was the man who signed Sesko for Salzburg. This might tip the scales in their favour. Although the price tag is a barrier, United remain in the fray. Weirder things have happened in football, and Amorim needs to now decide on whether he would like the club to focus their attention elsewhere or pursue an inflated move for the 22-year-old. Paris Saint-Germain coach Luis Enrique on Friday urged his team to round off the best season in the club's history by winning the Club World Cup, but warned not to expect Sunday's final against Chelsea to be a simple formality. PSG can complete a remarkable clean sweep of trophies with victory, having won a French league and cup double before claiming the UEFA Champions League for the first time in their history at the end of May. PSG were spellbinding at times in their 4-0 victory against Real Madrid in the semi-finals, and also put 4 goals past Atletico Madrid and Lionel Messi's Inter Miami during the competition. This is the first edition of the 32-team Club World Cup, and whoever wins on Sunday will be world champions for 4 years, with the next tournament scheduled to take place in 2029. Toni Kroos may have hung up his boots after a legendary career and has been sorely missed in the process, but he remains engaged with the evolution of Real Madrid. Speaking on the latest episode of Einfach mal Lupen, the podcast he co-hosts with his brother Felix Kroos, the German offered detailed thoughts on where the club needs to improve, his belief in Xabi Alonso, and his admiration for Arda Güler. To get back to the top, the most important thing in my opinion is focus, a system, and how that new system would work and be implemented. And from that, you can measure which player is missing, depending on the type of football you want to play. Kroos advocated for Güler's inclusion in the team, even if he occasionally struggles defensively. If you have a player like that who can play like a number 10 between the lines, then I'm in favor of turning a blind eye if he loses a duel. The important thing is that he has his task clearly defined and participates in the defensive effort. Reece James says Chelsea do not give a damn about Paris Saint-Germain's favourites tag, with the club captain insisting they are ready to go toe-to-toe with their final opponents. PSG have kept the ball better than anyone at the Club World Cup. They even managed 69% possession versus Real Madrid in the semi-finals. But the Blues intend on challenging that. Chelsea insiders feel the heat and humidity for this 3 p.m. kickoff in New Jersey would make it more difficult if they simply allowed PSG to dominate the play from start to finish. Manager Enzo Maresca also appeared to take offense at his pre-match press conference when he was asked whether his side would need to be prepared to suffer possession-wise. James added, "This is a super high-level game. They are one of the hottest teams in the world at the moment. This is a final, a one-off game. They are down as strong favourites. I have been in finals where I have played for the favourites and not come out on top. So this doesn't mean much to me, and I don't care, to be honest, that everyone is bigging up our opposition. PSG have beaten all the English teams. They have an amazing team, but we have an amazing team and have surprised a lot of people. We've come a long way on our journey from where we started. We are preparing right and going there to win. I believe we will go toe-to-toe. Stats, data, favourites and not favourites doesn't mean anything to our team." James also revealed that he is not injured, despite pulling out of the starting lineup to face Fluminense in the semi-finals. He felt he needed replacing as a precaution. With the Club World Cup now in the rear-view mirror, Real Madrid has begun reshaping its squads across all levels of the club. One of the first official moves is the departure of Castilla standout Victor Muñoz, who has signed for CA Osasuna. Muñoz, 21, was one of the most consistent performers for Raúl's Castilla side over the past 2 seasons. He joined La Fábrica in 2021 at the age of 18, progressing through the ranks via Juvenil A and RSC International before becoming a key part of the Castilla midfield. He made his senior team debut in May 2025, a reward for his steady development and standout performances in the Primera Federación.